Hey, I'm Siobhan, and I love talking about all the things related to freedom and personal growth. And I'm on a journey to redefine freedom on my own terms as I become the woman I desire to be. Each week, I'll share in real time what I'm learning as I do my inner work while creating a safe space for my listeners to feel seen. If you desire to be free and live a life that feels good to you, then you're in the right place for beautiful conversations that's going to support you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to the Siobhan J. Middleton podcast. Now let's start the show. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. You can probably hear the joy in my voice because today, y'all, we are celebrating my birthday. Yes, today, March 21st, is my 43rd birthday, and I am feeling amazing. And I love my birthday. I've always enjoyed celebrating, but I'll be honest, the last 3 years have been quite interesting, to say the least. When I turned 40 back in 2020, that's when the pandemic hit. And so on my birthday, we were quarantined. And prior to that, I had planned like a birthday dinner with my friends for us to all come out and just have a good time. And I had to cancel all my plans, which made me very sad. And that night, I remember me and my friend, we were on the phone FaceTiming, and we were dancing to D-Nice. He was going live on Instagram. And so it really was a fun birthday, but not the birthday that I wanted, to celebrate with all my friends and all the things. And then in 2021, I spent my birthday solo, which was great. I had a hotel and got lots of gifts, and that was really, really nice. But also I was in a different energy space based on everything that was going on. And then last year was probably the saddest birthday ever in life because I was deep in the process of preparing to separate. And I was having just such big feelings, and I was not in an emotional space. And I remember my one friend called and she was like, happy birthday. And I just started crying. And she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm sad. I'm really, really sad. And that's very unlike me because on my birthday, I'm just full of bliss, full of joy, all the things. But I just wasn't there last year. And so this year, I was like, everything has changed. Everything is new for you. How do you want to celebrate? How do you want to honor where you're at in this new chapter, in this new season, this new rotation around the sun? How do you want to experience this birthday? And so I reached out to my great friend Denise, and I was like, hey, I need some suggestions for a restaurant to go to for my birthday. And she knows all the cool places. And so what I love about her is that she just didn't throw out a list of places to go to. She asked me some very beautiful questions. And she was like, what's the vibe? What do you want to cultivate? What is the energy? And how do you want to feel? And I didn't give her a quick response. I really took my time to think about, okay, what is it that I want to cultivate on my birthday? What type of energy do I want to be in? What type of vibe? Who do I want to be around? And what came to mind is I want to be surrounded by love, and I want to be celebrated. And so that's what I gave her. And then she gave me some restaurants back. And so I'm having a birthday dinner, which I'm really excited about, with my friends, everyone that can make it, that can be around me, and just celebrate life. So much has transpired over the last several years, and I am now in a beautiful, grounded space as I'm healing and as I'm living my life. I'm in a space of let's celebrate. So for today's episode, I thought it would be fun to answer 15 questions to just take time to reflect over the year and what I want to bring into my life. And as I was thinking about the questions that I wanted to ask myself based on where I'm at today, I think this is going to become a tradition where I do this type of episode every year on my birthday, because it'll be a beautiful way to timestamp my growth and to see, oh, this is where you were last year, this is where you're at this year. Kind of like an open journal, if you will, which I really feel like that's what my podcast episodes are, like me just writing in my journal, but I'm just talking to y'all. So I'm going to ask myself 15 questions and give the response. And I think this will be a beautiful practice for you as well. Like if you want to just take time to reflect over your life and, think about your growth and where you're going, I think this will be a beautiful practice. And you don't have to just wait till your birthday. You can always ask yourself reflective questions, and you can do it in your journal. You can voice record yourself doing it however you want to, but I think it'll be a beautiful practice. Okay, so let's get started. Question number 1, have I changed this past year, and am I proud of the woman I'm becoming? Yes, yes, yes. There has been so much change in my life over the last year. I mean, from every aspect. I now have locks. My style of clothing, the way that I think, my environment, where I live, my beliefs, how I mother, like everything about me has changed. And I will be honest, there are times when it's uncomfortable because my life looks completely different than the life that I envisioned for myself. And the life that I envisioned for myself, honestly, it was a place of being stuck. So this level of freedom that I have in my life and the freedom that I am redefining for myself, this is actually where I want to be. So long in my life, even when I thought I was free, I was stuck. And so when I think about how much I've changed over the last year, everything about me has changed. And I love, 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 love the woman that I'm becoming. The good parts about myself and also the parts that I'm like, I guess we would call them, I don't want to say bad parts, but like your shadow parts or like the dark parts of yourself. I'm learning, keyword learning, because I'm not all the way there, learning how to love those parts as well. And it is a process for sure. And also there's a lot of grief that comes with change. And I know I mentioned that on several episodes. And so I'm in this space of adjusting to the newness. I've let go and I've released a lot from my life, and that has been both rewarding and sad. But overall, I'm definitely proud of the woman that I'm becoming because now I feel grown, I feel mature, I feel more confident, I feel more like myself. And that is shifting every single day as I do the work that I talk about on the podcast all the time. Number 2, what made me feel most alive over the last year, and when have I felt most like myself? I will say where I feel most alive is in my apartment. Y'all know this is my first time living on my own, and the way that I've been able to curate my space in a way that feels good to me, like I just feel so alive as I'm finding different decorative pieces for my home, and I'm buying furniture, and I'm cooking, and I'm getting my plants. Like I feel so alive in my home because it feels like what I've always wanted it to feel like. And then another way that I feel most alive and most like myself is when I'm on a roller skating rink. I'm telling y'all, that is such a free and liberating experience for me. I'm more connected to my femininity. I'm feeling more sensual and just more free. And I just feel so alive. And the more that I continue to progress as a skater, the more alive I feel because the more freedom that I have in my body. And even as I said that, I started moving my body. Oh, shoot. All right. Honestly, I'll say I'm still discovering when I feel like myself. Like I've been a certain version of myself for so long that I'm still getting to know myself. And so there's so many pieces and parts that I'm like, oh, I didn't know I like that, or I didn't know that I showed up this way, or, I'm learning so much about myself that there's aspects of me that I feel like, okay, this is who I am. But then there's so much learning and growing that I'm doing. Number 3, what's the biggest risk that I took? The biggest risk that I took within the last year is closing the Be Free Inner Circle and letting Be Free Project be complete. That was a hard decision to make because I started the company 9 years ago from a place of wanting to serve women all over the world to be free. And what I realized throughout this journey is that, yes, I was doing that, but also I was freeing myself. So once I got to the level of freedom that I yearned for, I knew the company had done what it was supposed to do. And it feels so right, even though it was the hardest decision, because I loved the way that I showed up in my company. I loved the work that I was doing. But also, Spirit told me it's time to dream a new dream. And so that's where I'm at. And even the dream has been given to me about a couple of weeks ago that I'll share a little bit more in a later episode. But that's what feels right. That's what feels good, that it was time to let Be Free Project be complete and now dream the new dream that I have for myself. And I'm so grateful that Spirit gave it to me very clearly. And one of the things I will share that I know to be true is that now my work is for everyone. It's not just catered to women or Black women specifically. Obviously, I'm naturally going to attract Black women, and I love, 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 love us. But what I now know is that as it relates to being free, my work is for anyone who needs to hear it. Whoever has a desire to be free and live the life that they desire, that's who I want to attract. And so it really doesn't matter at this point. I just want to inspire you by sharing my work out in the world, and then you show up in the best way possible for yourself. And so I'm trusting that I'm going to be guided along the way. And it was risky, but I promise you it is worth it. Number 4, what am I most proud of? And hear my heart here. I am most proud of leaving my marriage. It was not an easy decision to make, but what I had to do is I had to choose myself. And it was one of the hardest decisions in my life, and yet it was the best one. And I'm proud that I did the hard thing, that I chose myself, that I put my needs first, I put my feelings first, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to stay in a relationship that did not serve me any longer. And I am clear that my marriage served its purpose. And I'll talk about that in a later episode. But I'm just so proud of myself for doing the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. And every time I sit and I think about it, I'm still in disbelief that I did it. And yet, when I think about what makes me feel most alive and, redefining freedom, I'm like, oh, this is it right here, Siobhan. This is it. And I'm just so proud. I'm so proud. And I'm so proud because it wasn't easy. And then as I've been putting my work back out in the world, and everybody is like, DMing me, or you're emailing me, or you're telling me in person that you're listening to the podcast. People have been sending me voice notes and telling me like, thank you so much for sharing. But I wouldn't be able to share with this level of transparency and vulnerability if I didn't do the hard thing. And so I hope that whoever is listening, whatever the hard thing is in your life, that you'll be inspired by what I'm putting out, that no, you just don't go and, out there and do it, but you take it one step at a time. But most importantly, every time that you listen to my work or you engage with my work in some capacity, I want you to be inspired to be free. But it's up to you to figure out what that is. And I want you to be proud of the choices that you're making. Another proud moment is buying my pink sofa. I talked about that on another episode, but buying my sofa in cash from a Black-owned company, which I absolutely adore my sofa. So, 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 so cute. And I just love it so much. And so every time I look at it, every time I sit on it, it's like, yeah, that's yours, And then I'm proud that I got my first apartment on my own. That was a big deal too, because after being married for the period of time that I was and doing everything together, being able to get my own apartment on my own, no cosign or anything like that, and be able to bring enough income to be able to take care of myself and my children, I'm so freaking proud of that. It's such a big deal. A few other things that I'm proud of is I'm proud that I am trusting myself in ways that I never thought that I could. And actually, if I'm honest, I'm just learning how to trust myself. So often I've trusted everybody else's voice instead of my own. So learning how to trust myself, even when I'm making mistakes, I'm proud of that. And I can tell that my trust with myself is getting stronger and stronger. And that feels really good. And then also, I'm proud that I've been in therapy for as long as I have. Specifically, over the last couple of years, I've been in therapy like consistently every single week and sometimes twice a week, depending on what's going on in my life, and getting the support that I need to heal and to grieve and to grow and to just be the woman that I desire to be. Number 5, what did this last year teach me? What I want to share as it relates to this last year is that nobody can define my freedom, not one person. I have to define my freedom for myself. And that is what I'm doing. Number 6, what's the best advice I received? The best advice that I received over the last year is when my great friend told me that, Siobhan, rest is built into your journey. And that changed so much for me and is still changing because I have learned through therapy that when I take action, I keep going. There's a natural part that does that, and that's okay. It's part of my Enneagram, being a number 3. But there's another thing that happens when I just keep going, and that's a trauma response. And that is me fearing to sit with my own feelings. And if I sit still long enough, then I have to process all of the things that are happening. And I wasn't doing that. So when she told me this last year, Siobhan, rest is built into your journey, it has taken me time to adopt that as a belief that I'm still working on. But now I understand it a little bit more and I'm implementing rest practices in my life. But when you're so used to surviving, when you're so used to doing things one way, and because I've learned that me always being busy, always having to do something, that is me responding from trauma, now rest is making more sense. And so it's more so like a healing thing for me, if that makes sense. So that was a really, really great advice that I got last year. Number 7, what am I most grateful for? I am most grateful for my emotional and my mental health. I am grateful that I have the ability to think for myself. I'm grateful for my children. I mean, they have done an amazing job with adjusting to all of the changes that have happened in our life over the last year. I'm grateful for my friends. Like, I have some really amazing friends, and their support means everything to me. I'm grateful for Instacart. If you listen to another episode, I talked about how I've been doing Instacart for over the last year now, and having the ability and the flexibility to earn money while I figure out this next chapter of my life. I'm so grateful because I've been doing amazingly well at Instacart. And then I'm grateful for my home. Like, I'm really grateful for my home and how good it feels to be, to be here. Number 8, what has made me happy this year that I like to see more of? I want to continue to meet new people. I made some great friends over the last year. I now have my skate friends, and it's just been so fun meeting and connecting with people. It's been really, really fun, like going out with my friends and dancing, which makes me oh so happy. And just even being in spaces where I feel really good and I feel lit up. What also has made me happy is cooking new recipes for my cookbooks. I share my food on the gram, especially when it comes out really good. So that has made me happy. Becoming a better roller skater, that has made me happy. I bought new skates over the last year, and I bought new wheels, and I've been skating more at different rinks and things like that. And oh, this made me so happy. Last year, I went to see the Alvin Ailey dancers back in April. And when I tell you, that experience made me so happy because I purchased my ticket. I was third row from the stage, right dab in the middle, and I was able to experience the Alvin Ailey dancers like I never had before. I think this was my third time seeing them, but this was the best experience. I think for so many reasons, buying my ticket, where I was sitting, and just being engulfed in and all of it. It was just such a beautiful energy. So that made me really happy. Number 9, what or who has inspired me the most? I will say I've been most inspired by my desire to be free and doing whatever it takes to live the life that I desire. And I am inspired by my desire to change and to live the best life for me. Number 10, what do I need to do to spark my creativity this year? The thing that I need to do is to be more curious, to try new things, and to be open to new experiences. And I think also making sure that I stay connected with nature. So I'm really intentional about bringing plants in my home, but there's some other things that I want to do as it relates to sparking that creativity, but I know nature is really good for that. Number 11, what am I most afraid of? I'm most afraid of not being able to fully live my life the way that I dream about it. Like, that really scares me because of my healing process. Sometimes it's overwhelming and it's a lot. And there's days when I feel like, am I going to be in this place forever? And I want to get a chance to have the optimal freedom in my life that I desire. And sometimes I'm afraid, like, what if I don't get there? Number 12, what's something I can do to be one step closer to where I want to be this time next year? Honestly, trusting myself, trusting how I feel, showing up for myself, keep healing, and keep living my life fully. Number 13, what's the best book that I've read in the last year? I would say The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And I plan to do a whole episode on that book, so I don't want to go into too much detail about it. But I highly recommend everybody reads this book. I will link to it in the show notes. It is in my top 5 books I believe every single person should read. So stay tuned. I'm going to do an episode on that. But that is the best book that I've read last year. Number 14, what new things will I try this year? So y'all know this is my year of curiosity, and I'm going to be really intentional about being curious. And so a couple of the things that I'll share with you that I want to do is I want to take a pottery class. I want to be really intentional about dating myself. I want to take a pole dancing class. I want to take a solo trip. I want to go to musicals, and I just want to date with intention. So those are just some of the things that are top of mind. But I have a long list of things that I want to do and I want to try this year. Number 15, what is the one piece of advice I think my future self would tell me today? To love all parts of me, all my parts, the good parts, the not so good parts, all of it, the positive, the not so positive, the light, the dark, like all of the parts, Siobhan, love all of them. And keep tending to and nurturing yourself. It's all going to pay off. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I would love to hear from you. You can shoot me an email or a DM and just let me know, what did you think about the episode? And this is something that you would actually do as it relates to reflecting over your life. Please, if you're not, subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm on Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, obviously Apple Podcasts, all the places. So make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. tell a friend and like say, hey, I listened to this podcast. Let's listen to it together. Let's talk about it. Text them the link. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Siobhan J. Middleton. You can find the link to that in the show notes. I'm also on TikTok at Siobhan J. Middleton, so you can follow me over there. If you would love to treat me to a cup of coffee on my birthday, feel free to do so. The link is in the show notes as well. I appreciate every single person, every single week. Someone is treating me to coffee, 2 or 3 cups, and I really, really appreciate it. And if you just want to say, hey, Siobhan, here's some cash for your birthday, I'll link to my Cash app. And feel free to do so. Thank you so much for just being amazing. And I'm sending you so much love and light. And I hope you have the most amazing day ever.